The Icons Global Championship 2022 is close, and it's time to highlight one of the most powerful regions in Wild Rift, the WRL. For this video we are going to take a closer look at FPX.Yezi's Kerxx in Game 4 of the best of 7 Grand Final series between JD Gaming and FunPlus.Phoenix. Watching this video will teach you the following: understanding the idea behind Hullbreaker, Black Cleaver and Divine Sundra on Kerxx, how to maneuver around the map as Kerxx, what to do with your package, how to punish people in lane, and how you teamfight with Kerxx. Kerxx is a ranged champion that loves to poke out the enemy by utilizing auto attacks and spells alike. In this instance, Yezi is forced to briefly deal with Lemon and Juju in his lane as they try to secure the push during the early game to shackle Yezi to lane. However, due to Yezi's champion choice, they are forced to pay for that push with their HP bars. This exemplifies Kerxx's power to neutralize and capitalize on matchups perfectly. Take notice of how Yezi is constantly hitting Juju and Lemon for every action within that early game. Making use of this is mandatory to become one of the best Kerxx players such as Yezi. To give you a better understanding of what you should be doing, let's talk about the most important part of Kerxx's laning. For one, you have to spot the enemy's relative position to you and seize any chance given to deal damage to them without exposing yourself. You can easily do that by waiting for them to try and get a last hit. The other way of piloting Kerxx is about using his spells to slowly chip down the enemy laner up to a point at which they cannot lane anymore due to their HP bar being almost depleted. Just for clarification, this BO was played on another patch, which means objectives still spawned at 4 minutes. As a consequence, we see Yezi recall and change up the lane assignment. For Kerxx, this is an easy feat as it allows him to freely clear the incoming waves of his dragon lane while his teammates Zhao Ma and Blay are now unleashed from their previous lane assignment. Briefly before the clock hits 4 minutes into the game, you should consider taking a recall like Yezi does. He cleared the last wave in the dragon lane to get back to base in order to pick up the most powerful tool Kerxx has to offer, the package. It spawns after 4 minutes into the game and can be picked up next to the fountain in Kerxx's base. With this tool, Kerxx's out of combat speed on the map is massively increased, as well as his second ability's range and damage with an added slow on top. Perfect to secure either an objective, change the pace of a fight, or making a proactive play. What happens next is exactly that, a proactive dive punishing JDG's lack of vision on the dragon side of the map, whereas Yezi and Lei have complete information on the location of JDG's roster. To seal the deal, Yezi tags Juju Singed with a phosphorus bomb which reveals the area hit and champions that were hit by the spell. With Juju being low on HP and all information in Yezi's hands, it's time to put that package to good use. Now, take a good look at how Lei and Yezi remove all possible risk from the following play. With Juju's location revealed and in midst of his recall animation, Lei uses the Protobelt Head Buff Pulverize combo to lock Juju in place. As that happens, Yezi immediately pulls the trigger and packages slightly behind Juju to knock him further away from his own base and cut off his only possible escape route. This is one of Kerxx's unique strengths. Like Yezi just altered the playing field in his favor, you can do the same. Look for an angle to use your package to either block off an entryway or split the fight. The decision is absolutely yours. Now let's move over to the item breakdown and why Yezi is building the items that he is. His very first item is the Hullbreaker. Outside of the very first rotation with the package we've talked about, Yezi's Kerxx likes to stay in the side lane. Here the Hullbreaker unleashes its full potential, making Kerxx sturdier as well as bolstering cannon minions. It becomes virtually impossible for anyone on JDG to deal with this. As a matter of fact, he remained in this side lane and only ever left once another package for a proactive play was available. To put even more emphasis on the tankiness of this build, Yezi adds the following items to the mix that make him impossible to kill. Through the HP and resistances from Hullbreaker, paired up with the stats of the Black Cleaver and the spellbound effect of the incoming Divine Sundra, Yezi's Kerxx is now a side lane juggernaut. Compared to a full crit build, he deals less consistent damage and has mana issues without a blue buff. But you can't kill him. Lemon tried with everything he had, but failed as it wasn't something he could dream of achieving against the likes of Yezi. Summarizing the idea behind those 3 items is turning Kerxx into a base damage machine that will never die and therefore outlive, outdamage and outpressure you. It's time to accelerate the game with a bang, and Yezi thought the same. Due to his build, he's super tanky, which is very atypical of a hyper carry champion. As a consequence, he's allowed to package into the fray without fear of immediately dying for it. Surrounded by his allies Zhao Ma, 0711 and Lei, they take on Juju, Doki and Timeless. In the heat of the battle, Yezi is caught by an onslaught of spells that lock him in place and deal massive damage to him. With any other itemization, he would have died on the spot, as he'd be way more of a priority target to quickly take out. After the initial cascade of spells, Yezi escapes the situation with a second ability and repositions himself in a way that allows him to consistently deal damage to JDG. It doesn't matter that Corki isn't built like a hyper carry who's crit oriented. All of Corki's spells are AoE, and therefore just having a big chunk of attack damage among the Divine Thunder's Spellblade bonus is enough to wipe the floor with anything in his way. Securing the dragon and forcing JDG to flee the scene, FPX now have their eyes set on the prize, Baron Nashor. After securing the purple worm, this game is over, and Yezi knows about this as well as all other players in this game. FPX is advancing forward in all 3 lanes and nobody can stop them. Even worse, Yezi has Baron Nashor's buff, which empowers minions as well as the Hullbreaker. Therefore, all chess pieces slowly fall into place as FPX makes a conscious decision to slowly bleed out JDG by superior macro choices. JDG realizes the severity of the situation and is in fact in need of making a judgment call. They need to remove Yezi from the map or they will lose no matter what they do. Zhengdu, Doki and Timeless take it upon themselves to try and stop Yezi's advance, but forget about a certain detail. Yezi isn't squishy at all. You can't just take him out, and the empowered cannon minions next to him channel a barrage of shots into the assailants as well. Misjudging the situation, JDG falls before Yezi as his teammates capitalize on the opening they were granted. GG, well played. And now let's take a look at Yezi's performance in numbers. Focusing on tankiness and unique champion strength, Yezi did over 22,500 damage, showcasing exactly what a carry is even without signature carry items. Next to that, he participated in 5 out of 8 tower kills, very nicely displaying the power of the splitting menace known as Hullbreaker Yezi. Do you want to see more of him? Then prepare yourself for the Icons Global Championship 2022 in Singapore. From the 14th of June to the 9th of July, a series of action-packed games will unfold right in front of your eyes, and all you have to do is tune in here.